Happy Wednesday and welcome to Husker Talk with Jeff. And today we have breaking news about the quarterback position, depth chart, and we got some recruiting news and recruiting update. So let's get into this. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Now, maybe probably the worst kept secret that's been going on at Lincoln for the last 6 months or so, and basically the whole off season was finally revealed today as Matt Rule finally announced Dylan Raiola would be Nebraska's starting quarterback come game one versus UTEP. The true freshman beat out Haarberg and fellow true freshman Daniel Kaelin for this position, but it was kind of well deserved. And like I said, we've all been shocked if it wasn't this. Raiola now becomes just the second true freshman to ever start at quarterback uh, in a season opener again with Nebraska. Now, can you guys name the other one? Anyone? I'm sure one of you probably said it. Adrian Martinez was the only other true freshman to start the season for the Huskers, and he got that nod in Frost's first year in 2018. Now, these aren't the only two that will have played and started a game as a true freshman quarterback now. Can you name the other one besides Martinez who has started as a true freshman for Nebraska? Pretty good one. Can anyone? To me, probably arguably the greatest Husker quarterback to play, and that's Tommy Frazier. He started in 1992 in the middle of the season. Now, he didn't start the season as the starter as a true freshman, but he did play most of the season. Probably should have started. I thought he should have started, but it's kind of hard to. Back then, it just was unheard of for a true freshman really to even play, and especially at quarterback. But there was no doubt he was the better player, better quarterback, and he just had that mindset. He kind of reminds you of Dylan Raiola. He had that winning mindset, that want to get better mindset. The only difference is Frazier was probably more of a hard nosed, don't mess with me kind of guy. And he even said he didn't come there to make friends. He came to win championships. And he did just that. Now, the only other freshman, and they were redshirt freshmen, to start at quarterback for Nebraska was Taylor Martinez did it in 2010. And if y'all remember, Tommy Armstrong did it in 2013. Now, Raiola came in as one of the top recruits in the nation, if not the top player. And he didn't let us down when he got here, as he backed up his impressive recruiting profile through winter, spring, summer, and fall camp. You know, he went 16 of 22 for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns in the spring game, and he looked just as advertised. Just what we thought he'd be, just what everybody kept saying he'd be. But that was the spring game. And if y'all remember right, a lot of you were all impressed with Sims during last year's spring game. And I also remember the defensive starters weren't playing in the spring game this year. So can we really count what he did during the spring game? Well, that's basically all we got right now. But I've been saying for over a year, when I was the only one that said Dylan Raiola is committing to Nebraska, period. If you watch my video, even after he committed to Georgia, I stated it's not going to happen. Dylan Raiola is going to commit to Nebraska, period. And I got a lot of flack. I heard it from everyone because I said that. And so I took a little heat. Lucky for me, he waited till the 12th hour, but he did switch and come to Nebraska. But I've also been saying in almost every video, and I'm sure y'all have heard me say it if you've watched any of them, that Dylan Raiola is not your typical freshman. He's a natural leader, and he's a study of the game. He came in here And that was what's great about it. And that's what Rule loved about it, that he came in here and he didn't take it as I'm the top recruit. I'm number one. I was one of the best players. I don't have to do anything. He came in and got his hands dirty. Came in and put his head down and started working. He wanted to get better. And that's all you could ask for because he wants to get better every day. And that's all Rule asked for in all his players, to be honest with you. Rule even stated that the one thing he loved about Dylan was here's this big time recruit, and he came in, put his head down, and started to go to work. And probably worked harder than anybody else that came in or even was here, just as hard. And that's what he liked about it. But officially, Raiola hasn't done anything yet. We've got all the speculation, we've got all the hype, got everything but the results. But I feel like we're going to get that. It's all speculation right now. So he has a lot of work to do. College is not high school, and everyone at this level is elite, especially in the Big Ten. But I do know this. Dylan will be the first one in practice and the last one out. And players respect that. Now, the question is, and I want you guys to answer this, and it's an important question. What number is Raiola going to wear? As we know, him and Malachi wear the same number, 15, and neither one earned a single digit. So who's going to wear what? Who's going to wear 15 and who's going to another number? I can see Malachi going to a typical wide receiver number if he wanted to. But I could see Raiola going to another number just because that's just the demeanor, the mindset he has, because Coleman was here first. And he did that even at Buford when he went there. He actually wore number 1. And someone had number 1, so he went to 15. But I'd like to see him wear 15 because, to me, arguably the best quarterback that ever played for Nebraska, and we already talked about it, was Tommy Frazier, and he wore number 15. So I'd like to see him wear number 15. But the question is, what number will he wear? Anybody have any idea? Can't wear 7. I know a lot of quarterbacks wear that. He could wear 12. Turner Gill wore 12. But we'll see what happens. Maybe he's got the money now. Maybe he'll buy it off of Coleman. I could see that. And it looks like they're going to be co-backups. I thought Rule would probably name Haarberg as the backup and Danny Kaelin probably right behind him. But they actually are going in there as co-backups. But I do expect if something happened, they had to bring someone in. For something's telling me it would probably be Haarberg. But I could see both of them playing, depending if you needed both of them. Maybe Haarberg goes in there, turns the ball over or something. Probably going to go to Danny Kaelin. Rule already made that remark that if you can't keep a hold of the ball, you're not going to play. And this year he could do it. He said last year it was kind of hard to do that, but this year he could do it. There's more talent on the team, and so you got to pull your weight. So I expect that to happen. So Dylan is your starter, and Haarberg and Kaelin are your backup. Now for some recruiting news. Got some recruiting update. And as you guys know, Nebraska tried to go in there and grab 5-star tackle David Sanders Jr. just a few weeks ago. And considering how late they came into his recruiting, I thought it was kind of impressive that they made such a race out of it between them and Tennessee. I mean, it looked like even when he came out the first time, he was doing it as a favor to Raiola. And it didn't look like it was really much. We didn't think much of it. Looks like he was just kind of doing it because Raiola asked him. They had kind of a relationship already because of Georgia, his commit down there. But then when he got him in again, and it really came down to Nebraska and Tennessee, it's kind of impressed that they did all that in such a short time. But ultimately, it was really the relationships that Sanders had with the Tennessee and the coaches outweighed what anything Nebraska could do. Also, his girlfriend goes to Tennessee, so that probably sealed the deal right there. But the Huskers do have one of the country's best offensive tackles, basically in their backyard for 2026. And they're already on track, and they're already got him on campus a couple of times already. And that's Jackson Cantwell, who is one of the top prospects at tackle in 2026, and he's considered the number 2 player in the 2026 draft. Not tackle, he's the top tackle, number 2 player. That's saying something. Cantwell is just under 6'8" and weighs about 305 pounds. He's out of Nixa, Missouri, and has already visited Nebraska 3 times, including Junior Day in January. Now, like I said, Cantwell is the number 2 recruit in the country, and he's scheduled to come back and visit Lincoln again for the Colorado game on September 5th. And no doubt the Huskers do this. And if I had to put in a crystal ball of where he's going, right now I'd pick Nebraska. I think Nebraska is the favorite, and I think he's coming to Nebraska, but things could change. But right now, I think he's coming to Nebraska, and no doubt the Huskers are not going to waste time and miss another top tackle, especially one that's right next door. Now, Cantwell was asked about his visiting Lincoln, and he responded that he was planning on visiting Lincoln again this fall, and that he stated he's pretty much seen everything in Nebraska. And so his visits are more of to continue build relationships with the coaches as well as the players. And to me, that's a good sign when you say that, because you don't usually consider that much unless you really got that school at one of the top of the list. You know what I mean? You come in and you might talk to the coaches and try to get a good rapport there and see what they got to offer and all that. But now when you're coming in and you've already been here 3 times, this is going to be number 4. And how many times Nebraska has gotten any player on campus 4 times and did not get that commit? I'm sure it might have happened somewhere. Right there might seal the deal. I think what he's doing, and I think he's fitting in. And this time, Rule's not leaving anything for chance. He's personally one of the 3 coaches that stays in touch with Cantwell. And Cantwell says that his conversations with all the staff, with all the Husker staff, goes way beyond just talking football. So you could tell it's kind of got that family atmosphere. He stated that when he talks to Coach Raiola, Coach Rule, and Keith Williams, he talks to them regularly, almost daily, and that it's more than just coach to player talk. It's like I said, family. Right now, it's early. But like I said, my choice right now, mark me down. This one is a commit to Nebraska. And if that changes, I'll let you know. Something drastic would happen to happen. Now, Nebraska isn't the only school Cantwell's coattails on. Remember, he's one top tackle. So he did say he plans to take about 6 visits this fall. Nebraska's one of them. So it sounds like 5 other schools are going to get him. And it's going to be kind of curious to see which ones he picked, because he's got the pick of the litter. I'm sure he's going to go to teams like Georgia and Ohio State, things like that. Also, talk to the people down there in San Antonio, right here in my neck of woods where I'm at. Terry still got plans. Michael Terry still planned on coming, still planning to come that Colorado game. And he's probably going to make a decision, I would say sometime maybe in September, but it wouldn't surprise me if he pushed it all the way to December, because he stated he's a man of his word, and when he finally decides where he's going, that's it. That's where he's going. But if Nebraska gets him here again, September 5th, I like our chances. But right now, my prediction for Terry is Oregon. I know a lot of people thinking Texas. I think Texas is probably a close third, to Nebraska. I think Nebraska and Oregon are his 1 and 2, but I know he really likes Oregon's offense and how he fits that. But I think if Nebraska could come out here and do what Raiola can do and what we predict him to do and speculate him to do with Banks and Nair and Bonner, and then he comes out here against the Colorado game, especially if we light it up there, I might switch my pick then to Nebraska. It's that close. Now, another recruiting news, commitment Connor Booth was named to the Omaha World Herald Super 6 team, which recognizes the top 6 players in Nebraska. And this year, this list wasn't as easy to make as other years, as there were some great talent here in Nebraska. Booth even edged out fellow Nebraska commit Caden Vermas, I believe that's how you pronounce it, as well as Stanford commit Raymond Ziebert. So you can see there was some talent on this list, and congratulations to Connor for making that list. If y'all don't know who Booth is, he played fullback for Bishop Newman there in Wahoo, Nebraska. And in his sophomore year, he finished about 964 yards rushing, but he averaged like 13.4 yards a rush and had 18 touchdowns. And that's pretty impressive, especially for a fullback. He finished last season with 2,159 yards. So he's going to be playing running back for Nebraska, and he's a good one, guys. One of the most talented ones here. And we used to have some talented running backs coming out of, mainly out of Omaha. Remember, Ahmad Green came out of there. So it's about time to get back to that. Now, to the quarterbacks. And to me, the Huskers have their eyes on only one elite quarterback for 2026. And I know y'all know who he is. Got a familiar name already. And that is Dylan Raiola's little brother, Dayton Raiola. As he was back in Lincoln at the end of July for the Elite Junior Day. And right now the Huskers have no other offers for any other quarterback. And my gut feeling is probably told Dayton that he's the only one they're recruiting. He's the only one they want, because that's what I've kind of seen when it comes to Rule and quarterbacks. If you remember, Raiola was the only quarterback they were really going after until Raiola committed to Georgia, and then they went to Daniel Kaelin, and they did reach out to Daniel. They reached out to Daniel, but they did let him know that they were going after Dylan Raiola, but if that didn't work out, he was the guy. And so that's how we got Danny on campus after Raiola committed to Georgia. Danny decommitted from Missouri and committed to Nebraska, and we kind of benefited from that because when Dylan waited till the last second to commit to Nebraska, Daniel, I think by then he's already been recruiting for Nebraska. He's already been here many times since he was just right up there in the Omaha area. And I don't think he really wanted to go anywhere else. His decommitment from Missouri and committing to Nebraska right away in the same week when Dylan committed to Georgia proved that he really wanted to be a Nebraska guy. And I'm glad he's here. He's a great player. I think he'd be a great player. There's no doubt he's a great player. I know a lot of people think Haarberg might be starting if Raiola wasn't here, and he might. Don't get me wrong, because the one thing Dylan has over Daniel Kaelin is his body size. He's not like your typical 18-year-old freshman or coming in out of high school. Dylan's like 6'3", 220, 230 pounds. So Daniel's got some weight training to do, and so he needs at least another year or so to build that body up to be a Big Ten quarterback. And I think that's the only thing slowing down Daniel Kaelin. I heard he's just, with the playbook and knowing where he goes, just like Rule said, he has that it factor. They asked Rule about him. He said he's just got that it factor and sees both Dylan Raiola and Daniel Kaelin playing on Sundays in the NFL. And I agree. I always said Daniel Kaelin, he's one of the smartest football IQs I've seen. And so we're lucky to have him. And then next year when we get TJ Lateef on the roster. Just think about it. Nebraska's going to have 3 Elite 11 quarterbacks. How many others can say that? Maybe Georgia, but do they? I don't think they do. So to me, got a little off track there, but I think Rules told Dayton Raiola that he's the only one they're recruiting. That tells me, probably like a lot of people feel, it's either Dayton Raiola or bust for 2026. And they could probably get away with that because with Dylan and Daniel and now TJ Lateef coming in, you could probably get away with not having a quarterback for 2026. So now Dayton has been waiting a while to be his starting quarterback for his powerhouse school in Beaufort, Georgia, and looks like he might have it now. He started game 1 last week, and it was a sloppy game because it poured down rain probably the whole time, and the offensive line couldn't slow down the defense. On top of that, Dayton had a few passes dropped by a couple of receivers, which really hurt his stats for the game. But you could tell this kid, by the time it's over with, he might be better than Dylan. They both have strong arms. Obviously, Dylan has the stronger arm, but he's also older, stronger. We're going to keep an eye on that there at Beaufort. He's a native son here, and to me, he's going to be a future Husker. I think he does come to Nebraska. I'll put in another commit there that Dayton comes here, but that's probably not a going out of the box very far on that commitment. But patience will be key here because of that. Now, Nebraska, as they go through the season, and they could evaluate their options if they wanted to, and possibly even take a run at some of the other quarterbacks who came off the board early. And remember, Rule didn't even offer TJ Lateef till February, and he committed in May. But I don't expect that to happen. I think Dayton's his only guy, and I think he told Dayton that he's the only one. And so I expect him to stick with it. Now, the good news is that Nebraska is ahead of the game with quarterbacks in the 2027 class, as Rules offered Furlan Inferior, and I think that's how you pronounce it. He's a top quarterback out of Santa Ana, California. So things are looking up for the Huskers, mainly when it comes to recruiting. And Rules got this down. And as they start winning this year, and we do plan to win, and we know we're going to win, you're going to start seeing some of these top elite 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits. You're going to start seeing at least anything coming to Nebraska, taking more visits, and I think we're going to get more commits. So they're on a good start. They're ahead of schedule on both 26 and 27. So it's going to be great. So, well, we are less than 10 days away before opening kickoff against UTEP. And I'll have all our prediction shows next Wednesday. I'll predict the game for UTEP, where I give my prediction on the Huskers and how they'll do that first game. And I'm going to start doing that on Wednesday night. And I could do it live if you want to. I could record it. I tried doing live a couple weeks ago. Did about 3 or 4 live, and it really wasn't a big thing. No one really wanted to jump on, so I stopped doing it. But if you want to do live, we could talk what the Huskers will do that Saturday and what you guys think and who you predict. Let me know. We'll do that. If not, we'll at least do it for the Colorado game, because I'm sure we have a lot of opinions when it comes to the Colorado game. So we'll see how they do and next week and see what we think that Raiola will look like come that game 1. I think it's going to be pretty good. I think he's going to shine in week 1 against UTEP. So don't forget to subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss any breaking news. And please give this video a thumbs up, as I really do appreciate it, and it really does help the channel. Till the next video, guys, go Big Red.